So I continue. All right. What do we got? It's 12:49 in the morning, West Coast time. It's still the 25th of November, Saturday, 2023 for the year date. The Weaver, John C. Roseman, California. Barely alive, barely awake. You're zombie out here. Rrr. So I was trying to respond to Bo, the fifth columnist, is going off of my mouth because, yeah, I didn't have a clear topic except I was trying to respond to reading upon reading. And when you get into the I remember when kind of situation, that's where my mind went off. But somewhere there was supposed to be a point made in all of this. How to discipline our kids, how to treat them as if they know how to read. We worry about the kids' reading comprehension situation, which I got sidetracked and I got to apologize on that one because I was remembering of how I grew up. I grew up a reader. I grew up with a book. I read because I was a rebel. I didn't want to deal with anybody else's activities. I wanted to deal with my own damn activities. That being said, I don't know how the kids are these days, but I can tell you that if they happen to go into college, they're having an issue. In the community college level, you are tested when you first start the process. Let me get this damn thing moving here. There we go. Shovel out on the cooling unit. You are tested. You are tested electronically, at least in the college I'm going to. And they're putting you through your paces regarding your math skills and your reading and English comprehension skills. I sucked. As a youth, we had the manual tests, and they looked at our handwriting, and they looked at the material that we answered. We looked at the scantrons we threw at them, and then they tell us, okay, you're not ready for the you're not ready for the big boys yet. You still got to have more education in the lower ranks. They didn't throw your ass out, but they did throw you into lower caste classes to get up to collegiate level. So, which means if you actually tried to do your best at a C level in high school, it didn't pull anything. You were still suck in college, at least back in the 80s. And it still sounds the same way here, but that's how it is. Back then and now, technology changes, but not the meaning of the tests. It's showing you how stupid you are. I kid you not. You thought you graduated, top marks. They'll still have to look at your academic skills, and they have to accept whether or not if you actually are there or not. I mean, if you had a 4.0 and your grade averages are superior in every which way, yeah, naturally you get to fight with everybody else who's got the alpha male or alpha female, trying to get into the college systems so you can advance on that ladder of whatever the hell you're going through. But just a Joe Schmo like me, barely squeaked by in high school, skipped one year. I got pulled over from one year. I screwed up to 11th grade, so I had to retake it all over again. I should have graduated in 84, but I didn't. I graduated in 85. And even with those kind of low levels, yeah, I had to start from bargain basement over at the community college during those days back in the 80s. And yes, I had to take two beginning levels of English before I got into English 101. And I had to take pre algebra because my math skills sucked, especially when it came down for algebra. So I had to take that and continue to take it and continue to take it and still didn't get it right. I wasn't comprehending the damn formulas as much and I wasn't up there. Basically, I think I was a dummy. Ma was so damn disappointed, but she had high hopes I'd be this intelligent guy because I memorized a lot of stuff and repeated it like a damn parrot or trying to tell people about it, the few things I read and learned about. And that's supposed to be showing intelligence right there. But I guess showing intelligence was demonstrating their creativity or resourcefulness or innovativeness if I actually had it. I could play Lego and I build things with it. Is that innovative enough? Yeah, I could build stuff with Lego when I was a kid. And had creativity, had imagination. I was building stuff like crazy. Ma thought I had the intelligence. I got tested by my uncle a long time ago as a kid. He thought I had intelligence. I wasn't demonstrating it. No wonder I disappointed my mother like crazy. But when it came down for books, I was a voracious reader. I'd read stuff. Repeat it like a damn parrot. Was I Did I have this kind of weird ass thing about memorizing things? Yeah, I memorized, but I didn't have a photographic memory. I didn't. I had to keep forcing myself on topics left and right going through college. In college, the classes were like every other day, and you had to adjust yourself accordingly to that. In public education, when you're in the lower ranks and you're coming up on there in your age group, yeah, Monday through Friday, from whatever time, like 7 to 3 or something like that, or 8 to 5, I don't know, 8 to 2, 8 to 1, 8 to 3, something like that. Reinforce, 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 reinforce. Weekends were study, weekends for play, weekends for something. But Monday through Friday, your ass was owned by the school. And you had to be there. You had to remember, 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 remember. And it jumped on your ass if you didn't remember. Make notes like crazy in the books. We kept harping and harping and harping and harping. You're like, eee. Or some people are like, more, more, more. I was thinking I was the first one going, ew. Even though I did read. It just didn't bother to interest the living crap out of me, except for a few things that I started to read and catch up on in high school. But then you get into college, it gets even worse. Because now the English, you had to learn how to write all over again and how they would be able to read your damn handwriting. They never had a class about penmanship back in the 80s. You're supposed to know penmanship. You're supposed to know how to write cursive. Otherwise, the professors kept flunking it because they couldn't read the damn language in the first place they were presenting. But this is in English. Are you sure about that? I look at the damn blue books all the damn time. The green books. They're like, oh God, not him again. Yeah, yeah, it was a terror on that one. That was damn sure. But I managed to get through two basic beginning English courses before I graduated into English 101. Took me 2 semesters. So in the second year I was there, I was doing English 101. And then the next term after that, I was doing an English literature course, reading and writing. Then after that semester, I got kicked out. My academic skills sucked. The GPA wasn't there, and they didn't like it because in 2 years I didn't show that much improvement for them. So I said, okay, kick his ass out for about a year. Oh, they could have kept me for one more year. I could have improved. They didn't give me the chance. So I left. No, I got kicked out. I didn't leave voluntarily. I got kicked out. Ma gave me two options: be homeless or work your ass off full time. Survival. The irony thing is, right after Ma passed away, it was almost about several months after that, Dave and I decided we wanted to go back to college. David tried to go to college in the military, but only took about maybe one or two courses concerning about military history. He was always fascinated about that. And me, first semester he gets in there, and I'm tagging along just to make sure he's doing all right. And then we take a class together. The second semester, I damn near killed him. But at least we passed the course. Long story on that one there, too. But I really didn't get the idea that the kids were all that in trouble regarding their English uh, retention skills. Language retention skills is one thing, but literature? Are you kidding me? That's a something right there. So, I'm stuck in an English class. Uh, I had already been, I already gone through the testing that they had at the community college I'm attending at. And the computers told me that the math sucked, and I already knew my math sucked. Algebra or anything else like that above, forget it. The basics I can deal with. The advanced stuff, how to do it, forget it. But I look at the material that they threw out. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Okay, no problem. It's not like you're going to be writing a sentences. You're just answering questions to see if you're able to look at the work, understand it, comprehend it, click in the right boxes, move on to the next one. They're not asking for me to do an essay for them. It was all computerized. It still is. How they would judge you on your writing skills would be the first essay that you turn into in any English course. Now, if you're doing the basics at this point, I mean, like we called it English 28, and English something 99, and after that was English 101. The lowest level they would have would be the understanding where your comprehension and where your language skills are. Where is your linguistic skills? Are you understanding what you're talking about, reading about, writing about? How's your writing skills? Because of certain budget cuts and certain decisions made, some of those courses were modified almost into non-existence. That the higher level of English classes have to mollycoddle the students to get better. The class I took this particular semester of critical thinking and literature, most of the time we're dealing with we're dealing with master language. I never knew what the damn acronym for that damn thing was in the first place. But they called it a MLA. There's different writing styles that they have for um, different subject matters. Give me a second here. Sorry, my leg's itching. Okay, sorry about that. I had to do research on this one. So out here in California, they have two styles that we're constantly doing: APA and MLA. Of course, you're going to be asking me what that is. The APA is, okay, the American Psychological Association. They generally use it for education, engineering, social sciences. If you're going to be writing reports, there's a certain format that you're following for those. Uh, Intake citations, it includes mentions the author's last name, date of publication, page number if necessary. Uh, and they list it like this. All text should be double spaced in APA style. Set the paper margin to at least 1 inch. All sides, paragraphs in the body with indented lines. Ensure the title is centered on the page with your name, institution, or school. 12-point font. Page number should be upper right hand corner. 1 space after most punctuated marks. Title page. Do not use unnecessary words on the title page. I'm reading this under the website called Course Mentor. Hence, use those words are suitable. Always center the title on the page. In other words, place it about 3 or 4 lines from the top. The title should be bold. Do not underline your main title. The title of the page should be double spaced. Do not include any titles in the author's names. Okay, now we go to MLA. Modern Language Association. See, I barely remember what the hell this was in the first place. So they're saying that the type of style is used in various humanities disciplines, especially in the language. It's popular among students of literature and language. Of course, they've got another one out there called the Chicago Style, or CMS. University of Chicago Press published. Formatting academic essays and making references. The Chicago style is less common because hardly anybody else uses that damn thing in the first place. But all I know is the APA to a point, but the MLA mostly because that was what I was working with, and here goes the MLA. MLA uses Times Fronts Romans with a font size of 12, set margins with 1-inch space on all sides. Titles of the MLA styles are always in italics. They are. I never do that. Essay is always double spaced. Always do that. Title is in the center. Always do that. Indent each new paragraph with one and a with one and a half. A long time ago, it was like five spaces. You know, when you look at the sentence, it was always like 5 spaces, not just 1.5 inch. Sometimes I slip up in old habits. They change things on me left and right. Title of page. Here are the steps you need to take to create the cover, to create the MLA title page. Skip down 1/3 of the page and type the title of your paper. If you have a subtitle, write in the following line to the title. You can skip to the bottom third of the page to type your first and last name. I can. After that line, type the course name and number if needed. Type your instructor's name. Next line, type your paper's due date in the form of the day, month, and year. And that's what we've been dealing with over at community college. Basically, that'll get you through the community college level. After that, you got to work your ass off perfecting everything. I mean, you can perfect it nearly to the point where you can, but after that, you got to be piss perfect when it comes for the higher academics. Gee, was I? Never was. Sometimes I did the spacing a little bit wrong and got it screwed up. And I'm already out of my English course right now anyway, so we'll see what happens. I got a math course coming up, and my professor is open season when it comes down for what the students can think about regarding math for liberal arts. So I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation. What the hell? But in writing styles like this is what I didn't learn in high school. Because we never heard about these writing styles in high school. They didn't teach it to us unless I missed something in all those years. So now I'm the big boys. When I was a younger kid coming out of high school, didn't know any of this until they taught it to me. And then barely learned a thing. But I discovered after that it was just not applicable in the outside world. Business writing, that's a different story altogether. First portion of your letter was supposed to be where it's going to. Last portion, when you're doing the salutations, that's where it's coming from. Clear and concise sentence, hopefully in the first portion of the paragraph, and then you tell your situation or whatever it is. Of course, in one of the lines, when you do your name of the guy that you're sending it to or the person you're sending it to, far right hand side of the letter, that's where you put your date. That's what I was taught in correspondence school. The kids I'm dealing with on a constant basis, I don't think they've ever been taught the MLA or APL. If they have, they never bothered to do it because professors can pick up on this thing in the first essay. They judge on how your writing skills are. It gets even worse is when you try to do participation in class and you're telling them what your thought patterns are. Then they're going to think, okay, this is a quiet one, this is a quiet one. They know something, they know something, they know something. Okay. And then there's an old fart trying to say, I remember when these things happen over here, and I'm telling you about these things over here because this is what I remember here, but I don't know what you're talking about over here. Yeah, the old fart in the classes, that's me. Reading comprehension. Some of the students I have, I know that some of them like to stick their heads in social media like crazy. TikToks and be creative about that, or Instagram and making little movies about it. I'm surprised and they're technically adept to it. They can be literate. The class I had, they're literate. They're not knowledgeable about certain books out there, but at least they have the command of language. Now, writing skills may be a different story, but they see and understand a few things here and there. So I have to say this to Bo in the fifth column that sometimes some people actually just don't comprehend what the young people are going through unless you actually talk to these kids. I mean, really talk to them. You find out how the young adults are coming into the college systems at a community college level when they're starting off like that. You learn a lot. I've learned a lot. Some of them are actually about 20s, nearly 30s. They've lived a bit. They chewed some dirt. Reading books, a different story altogether. They're not avid readers as much. Our older generations have been reading books like crazy. Now, I don't know if they're hip on the older materials that the professors are still giving them. Maybe they're not comprehending it as much. But the older generation who keep showing up in the community colleges as students become like ad hoc mentors of sorts. We're their peer leaders. We're not the youth leaders. We're the seniors who's trying to explain things to the students. Why this is relevant. Why that's relevant. I can hear my professor. I've been here for 30 years and I've been teaching this and I've been teaching that. Yeah, you've been at the top of the apex teaching downwards at the point over here. You're not from the older fart learning and being among the guys. It's like, okay, you want to talk about military structure? Military structure, you got your generals, you got your, well, generals, admirals, you got your apex guy. And then you got the lower ranks. I'm like at the lower ranks, but I'm like a corporal or sergeant or a senior guy who hadn't gone up the ranks or chose not to go up the ranks or just whatever. But he's got the combat experience. He's got the experience necessary to get these guys up, and he's still staying at the lower ranks. Maybe because he's comfortable, or maybe something else keeps holding him back. Maybe it's voluntary, maybe it's involuntary. I don't know. But how I look at myself in the college system is I'm an old fart working my way up again. I hadn't done it the first time. I didn't have my wits about me. I didn't care as much about it. I didn't. If I did care about it, maybe I would have done something about it and already been an academic. Maybe I would have been a teacher, someone up there to show these young kids how it's going. But I didn't. I got knocked around 30 plus years doing the other jobs, seeing the other kids get up there, being managers and think they know it all and everything else, and they don't even have life experience to go with them. But they got their own experiences that they draw upon. Now I'm still fighting my way slowly up the system. I'm not rushing it. And this time looking around, trying to enjoy the view. I'm getting older. I know I am. Probably slower on that one. And once I graduate, I don't know. See what happens. As for reading and comprehension skills, I still have it. But I have to look at the things in a different perspective, though. I look at technology sometimes as a help and a hindrance at the same time. Yeah, it's nice to pull up a book and look at the damn thing, but mostly I'm reading the shit off the screens half the time anyway. Give me a flat pad. I can actually have some stuff loaded onto it. Yeah, I'll read the damn thing. Give me eyesores, but I'll read it. Comprehension. Liverbox. Listening to things. Yeah, I'll even go to YouTube to listen to the material, and then start questioning it and back talking to the video. Make notes about it, and I go to the teacher saying, the work that you wanted me to read and study and understand here. Well, what about this point? What about that point? What about this point? What about that point? See, it doesn't matter where I get the information from, as long as I'm getting the information. In our world of technology that we have, instant gratification, that's not instant gratification. Unless we have a matter energy converter that transmits things into what we want automatically. Then you talk about instant gratification right there. But if we're talking about information retrieval, that's not exactly instantaneous as picking up a book, reading the thing, or actually understanding how to pick up a book and read the damn thing in the first place. I have yet to read this one, but I will read this eventually. Book I got. Uh, the book I had for my class. And it's got a bunch of material in here that I never even covered. A lot of material. We only covered maybe a small portion of it. This is one particular earlier version. They've got many more later versions of this one, but it's still the same stuff that we read. Of course, the professors in college want you to get the latest version, and they're more expensive. But these things are still useful because they are minor. Actually, they're later in life, but they still have knowledge. Much like us old forts. So, that's my thing I talk about today. After this, I'm heading back to bed, and I'm going to sleep off another couple of more hours before I get back up again. Life still calls, and I still got to answer it one way or another. And I got a dog that's going to need to be taken out this evening. Good morning, guys.